Hola, soy Yndiana Montes. Estoy extremadamente feliz porque vengo a realizar una actividad con mi clase de sostenibilidad y las artes aquí en Appalachia. La clase se llama Sustainability and the Arts in Appalachia. Para quienes no sepan, estoy cursando mi maestría de estudios Appalachia. Entonces hoy me voy a encontrar con mis compañeros, con mi profesor y con la gente de River Conservancy. Y todos vamos a ir hacia Todd Island a desarrollar un interesante proceso con la finalidad de preservar el río.
But if you don't know me, I'm Katie. I work with River Conservancy. I'm repping today. We're going to be out here. Obviously, we're going to plant some live stakes. So there's a couple people involved that I thought would be good for you guys to get the background of Todd Island, the restoration going on with it. Cars go by. So we've got a couple players. So you got me, and then you got Jessica Jantz and Jonathan Hartzell. I always do that. From Blue Ridge RC&D, and so they kind of work a lot with this.
Reason we're doing it, you can see the park was experiencing a lot of steep vertical banks, and that soil was eroding off and causing sedimentation in the river, so we wanted to prevent that. And there's these, if you're not familiar with stream restoration, it's a technique that kind of repairs the river and the stream banks so they can stabilize long-term and prevent that soil from running off. All the bank work and structures were completed, and then during the dormant season we add plants, and those plants, the roots stabilize the soil and provide shade to the stream, to the water, and habitat for critters.
This area, and then we've got Glenn Sullivan with Foggy Mountain Nursery in Stream Restoration and his team. They're kind of going to be, they provide the live stakes, and they're the ones that have done a lot of the structures out here that went into restoration of this island.
A part of the restoration that Glenn and Tom and Joe did was removing invasive plant species. That I feel like was really big. They sloped the stream banks and replanted them to help with erosion. And they put structures in the river to kind of divert the water to the center of the river and away from the island.
So we took our team, and we have biologists and horticulturists and surveyors and engineers, and put together a plan to stabilize this island, which was really tricky, again, because sandy soils move much more than clay or loam. So this one was quite a task. Also, your survival of plants. The plants don't do as well in a sandy soil because you're so dependent on rainfall. Luckily, we had good summer and spring rains, so this time around on phase 2 we did better than phase 1 with survival of grasses and plants. The process we're going to do today, the construction's been done, as Jessica mentioned. We put in rock veins. There's one cross vein on this one from phase 1. Several root wad structures which stabilize banks and provide habitat for fish to hide and animals, and also help redirect the flow. And all these structures were put in, and now the thing that makes this project successful is the plants. It's like the final stage, but yet the most important stage. So that's where you guys come in today. We're going to put in live stakes. And then later we're going to follow up with our team and add container plants and shade trees and shrubs to help kind of reinforce that buffer that we're building from the water's edge back. So today you'll notice a brown material called core mat. It's a biodegradable material that is made of coconut. And it's where we slope the banks. And what we're going to do is we're going to start at the water's edge. We're going to go all the way up that coconut mat or core mat, and we're going to drive live stakes in. And the process is really simple. It's not brain surgery, but yet it is labor intense. So the bundles will look like this. The stakes will look like this. The painted end goes up, so you don't want to drive it in upside down. Painted end up. What you want to do is you want to make a fresh cut at an angle like that to a point which makes it easier to drive in. And then you want to make a very light callus or a wound. There's a fly chasing me. Yellow jay, go to Katie. So you want to make a callus about 2 or 3 inches long on the side of the stake. It's not a deep carve. You just want to expose that outer layer of bark. You want to drive these stakes in. We're going to provide rubber mallets if we have enough. You want to drive these stakes in it's better if it's straight up and down, but if the bank's a little vertical, you can drive it in till you get at least 70% of the stake below grade. So you don't want this much below ground. You want this to reach down to that layer of moisture where these things will root. You'll notice by May or June next year, when these start to root, they will have roots at all these little nodes, and you can't physically pull the plant out of the ground. They'll root so much. They're not invasive. They stay where you put them. We've removed all the invasives, right?
No, it's ongoing.
We still got some more going on. So yeah, it's a pretty simple process. It hurts when you hit your hand with the hammer. So you will hit your hand and you'll probably say some choice words. So be careful. Also with the clippers, be safe. I see a finger cut off about every year. And, yep, bring them on down here. Hammer. That one will go. Sometimes they don't always go, so that'll work. But this river had a lot of vertical banks, 6 or 8 feet high, and thousands of tons of sediment were going in this river. It was determined through data collection.
It does. I mean, that's part
So
of the point, right?
we built these. We put a slope on the bank, like a 3-to-1 slope on the banks. And then we built these rock vein structures that you can see sticking out into the water. So as the water hits them when the storms come, it deflects and creates the pressure to be in the center of the river instead of against the bank. So where you once were encountering erosion, now you have deposit. So it reverses the process through a natural process. Yeah, it's engineered, and it's a process that has been around now for maybe 15 years.
Y de esta manera la clase Sostenibilidad y las Artes en Appalachia contribuyó con la loable causa de preservar las riberas, las zonas ribereñas de este río New River. Fue la verdad una gran experiencia.